Hello and welcome to a I Perform to Camera video. This one's got a little bit of a twist as it's a voiceover monologue instead of a performance to camera. But I am going to do that thing that they do in all big film behind the scenes thing where they split the screen some way or another and they have the actor on one side and the scene on the other, so you get to see Dwayne Johnson do Maui, or you get that sort of thing. You get my drift. I'm going to try and do it like that. And if you want to skip straight to the performance, the timestamp for where the performance starts is here somewhere. But if you want a little bit of context, please stick around because I like this one. Okay, you sticking around? Okay, right. I've been watching the Fallout TV show, somewhat nerdily, because I am a massive nerd. I'm a gamer, I like my games, so anything game related, the Halo, Charter, Tomb Raider, anything like that, I was on board it in a shot. And I thought, you know what? Games do have some good monologues in them, and the one that really sticks out for me is Fallout New Vegas. Anybody who's a gamer will know that this one is possibly one of the best story-driven games and franchises in current modern-day gaming. Bethesda has nailed it. I settled on one character. I settled on Mr. House. Now, Mr. House as a person is... he's a man in a box, but when you first meet him, he's a big face on a screen. And to give what I'm going to do a bit of context, the nuclear apocalypse has happened and Mr. House has survived it somehow. And he's looking for something that was out there before the bombs dropped, a platinum chip. Now, you are a courier who's been told to go and deliver the platinum chip to Mr. House, and you can refuse to give it to him. Now, the voice actor who plays Mr. House, the late René Aubergenois, otherwise known as Odo from Deep Space Nine, he perfectly performs this particular role. He gets that sort of restrained anger, and it's spot on. So that's the scene I'm going to try and do now. So wish me luck, and let's see if I can pull this off. Okay, on with rehearsals. Our terms were clear. Our terms were clear. I gotta be able to do it without up. By the time I was 30 years old, I was a billionaire 30 times over. By the time I was 30 years old, I was a billionaire 30 times over. It's my invention! My property! Mine! 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 Now be a good courier and deliver it! Ugh, that wasn't so bad. Okay, so I've had my practice. I feel like I'm ready to do it now, so I'm just going to get everything recording and go. Our terms were clear. Now that you have the chip in your possession, any attempt to renegotiate payment would be tantamount to blackmail. How should I put this? Delivery of the platinum chip is non-negotiable. I would invite you to think carefully about what you do next. Standing alone before me, surrounded by my heavily armed Securitron guards. By the time I was 30 years old, I was a billionaire 30 times over. I founded and ran a vast economic empire. Do you really think I'm going to let an upstart come into my home and ransom my property to me? I spent 2 centuries searching for the platinum chip. It's my invention, my property, mine! Now be a good courier and deliver it! Why, thank you so much. You played that very poorly, you realize. Unfortunate, I have a certain tolerance for greed. I expect my business partners to be self-interested, but smartly so. And that is today's voiceover monologue thing done. And you know what? I'm pretty happy with it. It's taken me a lot longer to do than I thought it would because I was doing the accent initially, trying to do it exactly the same way as you would have heard in the actual clip. And I just couldn't keep it consistent and I wasn't happy with it. So I stripped it back, dumbed it down, kept a little bit of the twang, I think, Because I'm coming at it with a very raw approach, very unrefined, very unrehearsed, in order to give it that sort of genuine first try sort of, here's what I sound like sort of vibe. And I feel like this one's actually worked really well. I'm going to look into more gaming monologues, because as much as people frown upon the gaming industry, it's got some fantastic writing in it. The God of War games, Baldur's Gate. I'm currently playing a lot of very story-heavy, very context-driven games at the moment. So I've found there's some fantastic stuff out there. The Fallout series is full of it, even though the games themselves can be a little so-so. And I think I'll look a bit more into that, but the next one I'll do is possibly going to be a film. But if anybody's got any suggestions, any hints, any tips, and any ways to improve and grow and be better at this, that would be fantastic as well. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the actual monologue part. Yeah, and see you later. Bye.
Our terms were clear. Now that you have the chip in your possession, any attempt to renegotiate payment would be tantamount to blackmail. How shall I put this? Delivery of the platinum chip is non-negotiable. I invite you to think carefully about what you do next, standing alone before me, surrounded by my heavily armed Securitron guards. By the time I was 30 years old, I was a billionaire 30 times over. I founded and ran a vast economic empire. Do you really think I'm going to let an upstart come into my home and ransom my property to me? I spent 2 centuries searching for the platinum chip. It's my invention, my property, mine! Now be a good courier and deliver it! Why, thank you so much. You played that very poorly, you realize? You're fortunate that I have a certain tolerance for greed. I expect my business partners to be self-interested, but smartly so.